of the original StarCraft. And right now, we're going to play level 7, the trump card.
Commander, our position has been discovered. As of 2 hours ago, a large Confederate strike force arrived on Antigua Prime and established a base camp within our defensive perimeter. Arcturus Mengsk is calling a meeting.
Greetings. I know you're all concerned about the Confederate strike force. But first, we have a grave matter to discuss. It seems our data disks didn't hold weapon designs after all. Lieutenant Kerrigan will explain.
You all know that the Confederates run a program for psychically gifted humans, training them to be ghosts. Those running the program found that the Zerg are attuned to the psychic emanations of ghosts.
So the Zerg are here for you, darling? This keeps getting better and better.
Shut up. There's been a lot of secret Confederate research surrounding ghosts and the Zerg. What we stole was a small but critical piece of the puzzle. Designs for a transplanar psionic waveform emitter. The emitters broadcast the neural imprint of a ghost, but at a much greater magnitude. These things reach across worlds.
The Confederacy used these psi emitters to lure the Zerg into isolated containment areas. Your colony, Mars-Sara Commander, was one such location.
What are you saying?
I'm saying the Zerg are a secret weapon developed by the Confederacy. I'm saying you were all subjects of a Confederate weapons test. Just as they destroyed Korhal with nuclear weapons to establish dominance a generation ago, they would use the Zerg to put an end to their other rivals. Only this time there'd be no outrage. Who could suspect the aliens were their creation? No, they'd be lauded as heroes for coming in and destroying the Zerg. It's time the Confederacy paid for its crimes, and I know just the way. Lieutenant Kerrigan is going to plant an emitter at the Confederate base camp. Commander, you will provide her with an escort. When the Zerg arrive, they'll break the blockade for us and we'll make our escape. Now, get moving.
I'm having doubts about this, Arcturus. I just don't think anyone deserves to have the Zerg unleashed on them.
I know you have personal feelings about this, but you can't let your past cloud your judgment. Carry out your orders, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Your forces are under attack.
Give me some of this shit. SCP good to go, sir. Going. I read you.
Man, I just absolutely love the dialogue of StarCraft. They do such a great job with Arcturus Mengsk, making him look like a hero at the beginning, but you can tell something's off with him. And then each mission, it just gets darker and darker, and you start to realize that he's actually like a power-hungry, tyrannical guy.
Rock and roll. Orders, Captain?
Not a lot of resources in this one. I think the idea is to grab this base down here, and then we move our way to the bottom right corner of the map, and then up to this beacon.
Base is under attack.
Roger that. I read you, sir. Yes, sir. Orders received. SCP good to
Yeah,
go,
I think right
sir.
now what we need is minerals. We'll get gas in just a minute.
Reporting for duty. Roger that. Right away, sir. Roger that.
Arcturus is very, very good with
SCP good to go, sir.
orating. He's very charismatic, very good speaker. He gives an amazing speech actually at the end of this campaign. I remember it well.
Reporting for duty. SCP good to go, sir.
And it's really interesting. I'm not even sure if he really believes what he's saying though, because he says the Confederacy created the Zerg, which is not true. So I'm actually curious what he actually knows at this point.
Roger
Do it
that.
this way.
Yes, sir. You want a piece of me, boy?
Actually, I don't think I needed to make another Marine, but
Let's move.
oh well.
Go, go, go. Let's move.
Alright, we're gonna get a tiny bit of defense at these two bridges. This one and this one. But with this bridge down here, we're actually gonna push out. And don't think I'm going to use a lot of barracks production in this particular map, so we'll just use the barracks as blockades on these bridges.
Orders, Captain? Standing by. SCV good to go, sir. Let's move. Yeah? I read you. Affirmative. Orders received. Roger that. Something on your mind? Orders, Captain? Roger that. Yes, sir? Roger
We're going to
that.
make too many SCVs here for just 5 mineral patches, but then we'll transfer them to the other base once we get that up and running, so I think it's okay to oversaturate it.
Job finished. I read you.
And I think the AI attacks with very minimal forces, yeah. Just a few units here and there, but the annoying thing in this map are the wraiths. They'll send wraiths and they can be cloaked, and you can easily survive them, but they're just like annoying, so you want to get a few turrets up. And why don't we make this a... Let's come over here, actually. We're going to move our buildings a little bit closer to the bridge, since this is where we want our units to spawn anyway. Might as well move the ships over there. Oh, we have a science vessel. Nice. We got to keep these two alive. Put them on the whole command right by our production buildings.
Go, go, go. Let's move. Reporting for
And why don't we get a few turrets up here as well.
orders, Captain. Roger that. Orders received.
Probably don't need that third turret, but we're going to do it anyway.
SCV good to go, sir. Affirmative. Roger that.
One really nice thing about this level is... Yeah, see, here's the wraiths I was talking about.
Job finished.
They're not deadly, but they're just annoying.
Right away, sir. Roger that. Right away, sir. I read you. Right away, sir.
In player versus player, a lot of people say that Terran versus Terran is one of the most boring matchups, if not the most boring matchup, but I've actually always kind of enjoyed this matchup when I played Terran. I originally, I mained Terran way back in the day when this first came out and for the first couple of years, but I eventually transferred to Protoss, and at this point I would say I'm a Protoss player, but I always enjoyed Terran versus Terran. It's really all about two units. It's about tanks and wraiths. And the idea is you're going to use your tanks to slowly move your way to the enemy base. Tanks are, of course, super, super powerful. And the wraiths support the tanks. And also, tanks shoot further than they can see, and so a wraith can give you more vision for your tanks and give you an edge. Even if it's tanks versus tanks, your tanks will win if you have the vision advantage. Man, it is so nice to have all this space for supply depots and also tech buildings. And we started off with a decent amount of supply. I guess I built some supply depots here for the blocks, but still really nice. And we'll go ahead and get a comsat. We have a vessel over here, so we can see cloaked enemies, but it's always nice to have a comsat as a backup. So it looks like we got a few things over here that we're gonna have to deal with. And actually, why don't we use Lieutenant Kerrigan here? We'll cloak her up and we'll see what kind of damage we can get done with her. We do have to be careful though. Let's go ahead and save before we head out, just in case she dies randomly. Let's see if they have... Okay, they don't have their comsat, or they're not using it. There's no medics. I think I've said this before, but there's no medics in the original StarCraft, so you have to be careful with your biological units that are heroes. It's going to take forever to kill that. Why don't we just focus on the other things? What's up here? Okay, just a few Marines. Alright, nice. So it's really just this one tank here. Okay, why don't we get our Wraiths? And of course the other nice thing about Wraiths is that they can attack tanks, and tanks cannot attack them because it's air. So, where's our little tank at? That was giving us trouble earlier. Alright, so there's a few things down here. Alright, I think we can start the command center down here now. Tank right there.
Reporting in. Commencing. Ready to deploy, sir.
Lock that down. Jeez.
Lieutenant Kerrigan reporting. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I really wanted to kill that Goliath.
It'd be a pleasure.
Alright, why don't we move all our troops down here? And why don't we get our production buildings to rally right next to this command center?
Greetings, Command. Go ahead, Commander.
Oh, and of course, Wraiths also provide vision for cliffs, which is really, really nice. Oh, I don't know how that guy got up there. Maybe a dropship or something. So it is super, super easy to cover this valley with tanks. So we're just going to go ahead and set these up. Oh, we got tanks here. Also bring Sarah Kerrigan up here. I think she'll be safe enough. Excellent. Alright, now that we got our unit set up, why don't we bring her back to safety? Tank Wraith. And we can probably transfer a few of these down here. Yeah, this is done. The real thing I want down here is gas, though. The one thing about Terran versus Terran is that you're always doing a very, very gas-heavy build. Tanks cost 100 gas each, and Wraiths cost 100 gas each. And then you're going to build the occasional science vessel, which is, I think is 225, which is an insane amount of gas. And see right here, my tanks beat their tanks. I mean, the AI didn't micro them very well. But usually in Terran versus Terran, it's a battle of the tanks, and then you just have to control the air with your Wraiths. So let's do it again. Wraith, tank. And I'm not sure I even want my Wraith upgrades. It's probably a smart idea to get them, though, actually. Let's get a few supply depots going, and man, this is even more gas heavy to get upgrades. I think I want at least my tanks to be upgraded for damage. These two bridges are secure, and I don't think I want any other upgrades. Let's get a second comp sat just to be sure. Alright, one moment. Try this. Alright, I'm back. My son walked in, and I always like to give him attention whenever he wants it, so had to pause the game. Let's just keep slowly marching our tanks forward here. And then let us also build a few turrets here and there, so we have more anti-air defenses. And let's set these guys on hotkey number 1. Ooh, I didn't even know that guy was down there. This way, I'll be able to quickly respond to anti-air. There we go. Perfecto. Oh yeah, science vessels give an insane amount of vision, so that's always really nice. Always nice to have at least one of those on the battlefield. And now that we're so far forward, we can probably move these tanks forward now. Tank, Wraith, and we have enough money here where I think we can start a second starport.
Your forces are under attack. Your forces are under attack.
At a certain point in the battle, things get very chaotic. And so you just have to put your units on hold and just wait for a period of time to see how the battle progresses, and then you gotta help at the right place. I'm trying to avoid getting too close to this cliff. I don't know what's up there. And fighting up toward a cliff advantage is always a bad idea. So we're gonna try and stay far away from this cliff and work our way slowly over here. And it looks like I really aggro the AI here because I'm getting a ton of units pouring in. It looks like they don't have upgrades yet, so that's good for me. And I don't know that I can handle another production building, especially with these minerals about to be mined out. So we'll just stick with those 4 production buildings for now.
Your forces are
And let's continue to get our tanks upgraded. Just the tank damage. Let's back up here to some tank range. Looks like I lost quite a few tanks there. I probably overextended there.
base is under attack.
I'll get a few more SCVs on these minerals here.
Orders, sir. Delighted to, sir. Destination identified. Target. SCV good to go, sir. We have you on mission.
Wraith, tank, as always.
Standing by.
Your forces are under attack.
Alright, looks like I'm out of minerals here. That would account for my weird ratio of resources up here. You rarely have more gas than minerals when you do this build.
Identify target. Yes, sir. Moving. Absolutely. Transmit orders. Commencing. Ready to roll out. Orders, Captain. Affirmative. Right awaiting launch orders. Orders received. Received orders. Report for duty. SCV good to go, sir.
Other SCVs over here. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I'm actually able to build with this guy even though he's holding the Psi Disruptor. Not the Psi Disruptor, the Psi Emitter. But for right now, we really need some minerals.
Transmit coordinates. Ready to roll out. Affirmative, sir. Moving. Absolutely. Moving. Transmit orders. Orders, Captain. Right away, sir. Affirmative. Orders received.
Yeah, every time we go to the production buildings, we're going to focus on tanks first. I think we have enough rates for the time being.
Commencing. Excellent. Orders, sir.
And it looks like we probably won't need our comsats after all, but always nice to have them.
Report for duty. Yes, sir.
Really close to the beacon now. But I don't want to bring my SCV prematurely. I think if the SCV dies, he just drops the item and then I can pick it back up again, but I haven't played in such a long time. Don't want to take any chances. Alright, let's bring these back tanks up because they're not hitting anything now.
Complete.
Delighted to, sir. Absolutely. Yes,
first time you aggro the AI, I think it's when you start hitting their buildings. Oh wow, battle cruiser. Wraiths absolutely annihilate capital ships like battle cruisers and carriers. The first time you aggro the AI, they send a ton of units at you. Basically all the units they have available on the map. So you hit this massive swarm of units, but then after that, the game becomes a lot easier because the only warriors that you'll end up facing are the ones they produce after the fact. So they just trickle in and die pretty easily to your army. Looks like this beacon is secured. And what is the mission objective? Just bring the Psi emitter. Okay, so Sarah Kerrigan can stay back here. I'll just cloak and hold just in case. I know I'm overly cautious about losing my heroes, but I've lost enough levels to my heroes dying that I just developed that habit. Let's save the game before our SAB runs into the war zone, but I think he's going to be just fine. Alright, there we go.
We will do whatever it takes to save humanity. Our responsibility is too great to do any less.
Alright, great game. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.